So Skarmory in Pokemon Sword and Shield is actually really good he's a really good tank with 65 health. Like 65 health isn't good on its own, but with 140 defense, it's really good. That's a lot of defense. And 70 special defense is good enough to where you can survive some special hits. 70 speed and 80 attack are both pretty good too on a tanky Pokemon. 70 speed's really good because most of them are really slow. And 80 attack's good, that way you can do some damage. 40 special attack doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter if it's special attack's low because you're not going to use special attacks with Skarmory. And its abilities are Keen Eye, Sturdy, and Weak Armor. Sturdy is not a great ability, and it's really weird. A lot of tanks get it, but it's like very rarely will you get one shot blasted. It is good though to have Sturdy against something that's really set up. Sturdy can be the difference between getting KO'd or not, or just surviving whatever hit they throw you, then KOing something with like 1 health. Keen Eye isn't bad as an ability. It's not bad, especially against something that uses Minimize or something that's made to lower your if it has to do with evasion or accuracy, Keen Eye pretty much ignores it, which is good, but you won't see it that often. Weak Armor is really underrated too on a Skarmory. There's some things you can do with Weak Armor because your speed's just high enough at 70 to make use of it. It's like a free agility. You lose -1 on your defense, but your defense is high anyway, so you can survive. You can take a -1, do some things with it. So I forgot to talk about Skarmory's typing. Skarmory is actually still flying, which is a really good typing. You're weak to fire and electric, but if you look at the immunities and resistance, you have a lot. You're immune to poison and ground, and you're resistant to normal, dragon, fairy, flying. I did those backwards. Steel and psychic, and you have a 4 times resistance to bug and grass. So you have a lot of resistances and a lot of things you can just take hits from. You have more resistances and immunities than normal stuff. Like, Steel's a great typing, especially with flying. But the tanky way to run Skarmory is just max health, max defense, impish. Just get as much defense as you can. That's why I said Keen Eye's not bad, because if they use Minimize or something like that, you get through it with Keen Eye. And the only thing that sucks though is because your ability is Sturdy and Weak Armor, you're never going to use Weak Armor if you're running tank because it hurts you. Also, it's only physical hits, but Sturdy, it's not really the greatest, honestly. Leftovers, but the plan is max defense, max health, and then iron defense. Iron defense, roost, and body press. Body press is your defense, and your defense is going to be so high with the iron defense, you're going to do a ton of damage with body press. The other slot, roost, to recover your health. I like dual wing beat in this slot. You could also run a steel wing or an iron head. It's up to you, whichever stab you want in that move, but I like dual wing beat because it hits twice. But iron head can't miss and does the same damage. Same with drill peck or dual wing beat. I like dual wing beat just because of like sashes and stuff like that. Each one has an individual chance they create and stuff. I just like dual wing beat. But you could also do something else where you put it into special defense if you want a more balanced tank. You could put it in your special defense so you don't run into a special wall and run into problems. But you do something like that in any ways and just max out your defense with iron defense. But another way to run it is just max special defense, max health, and curse to raise your attack and defense. With dual wing beat, body press will still do more because your defense is way higher than your attack. But again, dual wing beat or whatever stab you want in that last spot. Dual wing beat or steel wing / iron head for stab. Again, Keen Eye. I like the Searcher's Berry on this because curse doesn't give you a +2 in defense, so a physical hit still could do a lot of damage. Or you could get 2 curses off and then the Searcher's Berry procs. You could still also run leftovers in that slot if you want. But pretty much the same thing as this one, except for a little slower, and you're raising your attack, so your dual wing beat / iron head or drill peck will still do a lot of damage, and it won't just be solely body press or something like that. You could also run a dark move in this slot, like Night Slash, if you want to cover out ghost types, but I wouldn't really run it. Do you want to payback? Or payback? Payback's actually really good because your payback is, if you run payback, I would run this nature. That way you lower your speed and have a higher chance. Actually, I think payback has negative priority. So, actually, does payback have negative priority? If it does, that's really good. Let's see. Payback does not have negative priority. I don't think payback has negative priority, but payback's still a good option to cover out your ghost weakness with, well, they hit ghost types instead of body press, and it has 100 base power if you go after them. But a Dynamax Skarmory is Swords Dance. Pretty much you come in, you Swords Dance, you take a hit. Hopefully it's a physical hit, so you lower your speed, or lower your defense, but raise your speed. That way you outspeed everything. You have a +2 attack and +2 speed. You have Citrus Berry in case you need it. And then you Dynamax, with Sky Attack, Iron Head, and Body Press. Only thing about this though is if you undynamax, Sky Attack is pretty much useless, but it's pretty good because you'll have the +2. You could also run Brave Bird instead of Sky Attack if you want to have a move to use after Dynamaxing, but X Scissor instead of Body Press. But raising your attack's pretty good, especially if you can get a KO with it. But X Scissor, Rock Slide's also an option. Night Slash, I really wouldn't use. I would use Rock Slide or X Scissor instead of Body Press if you don't want Body Press. But pretty much, you get +2 attack, +2 speed. You outspeed a lot. You're going to do a good amount of damage, and you're still really tanky even without that HP investment with your natural 140 defense. 70 defense is decent, but not as good. But I like running Citrus Berry with this because you don't want to run Life Orb or something like that, just in case you don't one-shot something. And because you're bulky enough, especially if you get hit with a physical attack, that is really going to help because then you'll get another +2. Defense drop doesn't matter as much. You could also run something too with a White Herb. If you don't really care about the healing, you could run something like a White Herb, Weak Armor, and run a tankier one. Swords Dance. Maybe get rid of this for Roost. And then run either Dual Wing Beat or Drill Peck. But I didn't mean to replace that move. Iron Head. Something like this, but with the White Herb. So you take a physical hit, you lower your defense but raise your speed, but then the White Herb maxes your defense back out, and you can be just a tanky attacker. With your Swords Dance, take a physical hit, get the +2, pretty much a free +2, and it takes away the White Herb, and then Drill Peck, Iron Head everything down, while still having a lot of bulk and Roost to heal. You do something like that. It works better against physical attackers, but you'll kind of whittle yourself down after a bit. I mean, you'll get a really fast Roost too, so you can go around that, but another thing you could do with Skarmory is just a all-out attack. Well, like an attack defense with what is this one? Attack defense. Oh, I forgot. Just a health defense and just 3 offensive moves and Roost. So pretty much you just whittle them down with really Body Press and Dual Beat or Iron Head if they're super effective, and then you just Roost back up to get your health with the Citrus Berry. Sort of a just come in and KO them and then heal back up and deal with the next thing. Just realized I never looked. Also. But yeah, some of the other things you can do is Assault Vest on Skarmory, but you run the risk of not being able to Roost or anything. You won't have any healing, which kind of hurts a little bit. But some of the other moves you'll learn: Stealth Rocks. Brave Bird's pretty good, but it has recoil damage, which is kind of a problem because your attack isn't the best, so that could hurt you. Rock Slide's good coverage. Icy Wind's a good move in doubles if you run something like that. Autotomize, Agility. But some of the other moves Skarmory learns are like, I would never really use Wing Attack. But Metal Sound lowers their special defense by 2. It lowers their special defense by 2, which is pretty good. It learns Spikes if you want to run Spikes. Steel Wing has a 10% chance to raise your attack. I wouldn't really rely on that, but that's a thing. Rock Tomb in doubles if you want to lower someone's speed. Guard Swap. Substitute's an option. You can do something with Endure, Taunt. But for the most part, that's Sky Attack. You could also Sky Attack Power Herb, something like that, if you just want to get off a good hit after taking an attack. But yeah, that's how to use Skarmory in Pokemon Sword and Shield.